Soucek's form, like, it's worrying me. Like, it's great to see it, like, and what, like, not just because it's a West Ham player doing well in international duty and he's doing well for the club as well, but just because he's such a nice guy.
Such
And
a
like,
good bloke.
I just look at his little smile and I just think, I just want to be his mate. Like,
Just want to hug him, mate.
I want to give him a hug and go out the pub with him and chat about potato salad or something weird like that. And just to see him do so well and to see him get the hat trick. But then at the same time, it means that there's going to be clubs circling. I think United have been linked, and a few other big clubs have been linked. Some clubs will probably look at him as maybe an alternative and a cheaper alternative to Declan Rice potentially. How important, Tom, is it for us to keep him at least for one more season, just to get at least one more season out of him?
Yeah, I think honestly massive, because of all the rumours and murmurs coming out that we don't actually have that much money. I think because he's not the most fashionable. I know people give him the praise, but it's almost fake praise or laughed at, like in a sarcastic way, like Tomas Soucek done it again, the greatest midfielder in the world. And truly, he's a superb player, and he does a lot. And even you saying that then as an alternative to Rice made me realize he does play that role as much as he scores these goals and he's up and down. That is his role, and he wins the ball back just as much as Rice. He gets around the pitch, not quite as athletically and quite as quickly, but he gets around it just as well, covers more ground. He's got so much to his game, and I think if we do get Europe this year and we struggle to buy players, we can only expect to go backwards. But if we have another year out of Soucek and we get bits and bobs out of players like him, players around him, in the Soufals, and they live up to it, with Soucek there, we can continue to be a European side. I think if we lost him, not only what that would do for Declan Rices of the world and everyone in that squad looking at that and being totally devastated and think this club doesn't want to go anywhere, they just want to get by and have the one good year every 10 years. I think keeping him is imperative, because I can't think of another midfielder in the world. Everyone compares him to Fellaini because it's the only people anyone can think of. He was 6'4" plus, scores goals, gets around the pitch, bit of a leader, and sort of has it all as a midfielder. So I think we couldn't replace him. And I think we've looked 10, 20 years in my lifetime. We've had about 3 good midfielders, and they're Scott Parker and Mark Noble and Declan Rice, all sort of homegrown or bought from someone we all know about. So I think it'd be something the club would probably not repair in time before something unthinkable and bad happens to us, and maybe go to looking not at the top 6, but the bottom 6 again. So I think we've got to keep hold of him, not just because of what he brings, but because of the message it will send to everyone else in the squad.
Again, I agree, mate. But how much would be an acceptable fee for him? I've been thinking about this a lot. Obviously, the Declan Rice fees get thrown around 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 million plus. And then suddenly you start seeing these Soucek rumours flying, but there's been no real sort of transfer fee sort of linked to those rumours. And you wonder, okay, well, what do you think the club sees as a fee for that, given that you've only paid 15 million for it? Are they looking at going double that, triple that is acceptable? And in today's market, I wonder sort of how much would be an acceptable fee for Soucek.
I reckon, tough question. Good question. I reckon the club will probably, we've dealt with them, we've seen them enough, probably double. I think you're right with the double go. I think that's what the club would be happy with. I think they'd laugh at it, saying we got him for 40 million. He's kept us up one season, effectively, what he brought, and he may have got his Europe. We'll take 40 million and what he gave the club. But for me, I think I might, obviously we're protective, and no one's worth 60 million. Nobody in the world should be worth 60 million, but I'd say 60 million, I'd be able to take it and accept it because he is. But he's 26. He's got a great age. He's only getting better. It's only his second year in the top flight in England. I think the numbers and everything will keep getting better. He only started scoring goals really at Slavia Prague last 2 years he was there. So he's only sort of transformed and morphed into the player he is for 3 years. So I think he's going to truly get better. But 60 million, and I'd sort of at least allow their decision making, because I understand it, and we are a club who players are going to want to go beyond us at some point in their career. We just got to maximise and squeeze out what we can from them. So 60 million, and I'd sort of accept it, but I just hope no one comes in with that. And even if they do, I won't want him gone. Don't get it wrong, but I'd at least understand it.
I think the the hesitancy around actually receiving a bid like that is that, okay, that's a fair amount to take for a player like that. I think where West Ham is concerned, you don't really trust the club to be able to reinvest that properly.
Yeah.
Like, we're probably the last club on earth that should be getting transfer fees like that, because the money just either doesn't get reinvested or isn't invested or reinvested properly. So that's my big worry, is that, okay, yeah, we might get 50, 60 million quid for him, but they ain't gonna find a replacement for him that does that job. You're not gonna find a replacement that does the job as well. But yeah, that's my big problem. But another transfer story as well, Jesse Lingard. What 1 week it's, yeah, we're going to sign him. He wants to stay. The club want him. In talks with Man United to do a cheap deal. I think 15 million quid was on the cards. And then 7 days later, it's, Man United have done a U-turn. They're going to offer him a new deal. And it's like, how is this one going to go? And to be honest, if we get into Europe, I think that's got to be priority to get Jesse Lingard in, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%. I think no matter what happens, and ideally it's Europe. Hopefully, I don't want to envisage a scenario we don't have Europe, but it's a possibility. But whatever happens this season, I think we got to get him. We got to get him straight away. I mean, he clearly loves it. I feel like he's clearly, like we've already mentioned the last few weeks on the pod, with and without him, we're a different side. We're not a bad side without him, but we got that little bit of difference which makes us a threat for the other teams. We don't just soak pressure up, hit them on set pieces and counters. With him, we're in our own right. We can hurt anyone from any position on the pitch when he gets on the ball. So I think it's imperative we sort of get that done. And I don't blame them for whether it's a contract to keep him there to make clubs like us have to pay upwards of 15 million. I don't know, but yeah, it's scary stuff, because anyone, the way he's played for us, I think anyone in world football would look at him and say, yeah, he'd do all right in our squad. He'd be handy for us. So don't blame them doing it, but it's just one of those ones. I know there's complications, and I should just be grateful we got him, but I sort of wish we had something in play already where we knew we were going to get him for 8 million in the summer, and that was brilliant, or 15 million, whatever it was. Just know we're going to get him, because you just know the clubs like Everton and all those and all the Northern Manchester clubs or whatever it is, they'll all be circling, and we'll be back in the queue again. We'll have had 6 great months that we've given him and but we all know that things like money come into it, where he lives, where his family lives in it, and it'll all be a factor come the summer. So we just got to sell him and try and finish the season off as best as possible. And if we do get Europe, like you say, I think he'll absolutely want to be there. I think he already does want to be there. It's just a matter of how difficult Ollie and United are going to make this whole scenario for us, because it'll probably rage on all summer, won't it?
Yeah, I think he's shown a lot on social media, and the fact that you see him on like even the club social media when they're doing videos of him or pictures of him training and stuff like that. That he's just loving life in London, and what sold it for me was when he put that picture of him and his daughter both wearing West Ham kits at home, like on a Sunday, it's like a Sunday afternoon, and like they got Lingard on the back and stuff like that. And I thought, you don't do that if you're not having fun and you're not settled, you're not enjoying yourself. So I think that could be a bit of a bargaining chip. He won't want to, unless you promised, regular first team football, which Ollie isn't going to give him at United, not with Bruno Fernandes there and the rest of it. So he must be thinking, rather than have to uproot and move again, if I'm going to move clubs this summer, then London's the place for me. I'm settled here. I've been here 6-7 months. I'd rather stay here. Like it makes sense, but see, football and West Ham really makes sense today. So I think that's going to be a bit of a roller coaster, that one. But the last one I've got here is Aaron Ramsey. I'm not surprised in the slightest that we've been in with him, but it does surprise me that we're allegedly leading the race for him. He's 30 years old. He's on 400 grand a week at Juve. He's doing well for Juve as well. He's had a couple of good seasons for him. But apparently we're leading the race for him, and looks like we might get him on a cheap. But it doesn't really fall under David Moyes' new transfer strategy that he said he's got. And it kind of feels like this is Jack Wilshere Mark II.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. The main reason why I can't see it happening, every other thing makes sense. He's 30, he's injury prone, and he's on 400k a week, which just screams of David Gold and Sullivan slapping 200 grand it and giving the 10 dog and trying to sell shirts with it. But the only thing that we now have, which is a bit of a difference maker, is exactly what you said. He just doesn't fit the Moyes bracket. I mean, even Lingard, people said that signing, it's because he knows him. He knows what type of kid he is. He knows the type of guy and the type of work ethic he has. And I think that Ramsey, not saying he doesn't have that, but he's also got that injury prone label. And I think exactly what Moyes has been reiterating that he wants to stay away from. And I don't deny it. I think Ramsey's a superb player on form when he's fit and firing. Not even firing, just when he's fit, he offers any side he's in a lot. But what West Ham going to get out of him? A year and a half, 12 months, he's going to have the drop down from Juve to us mentality, unless he's some kind of psycho and unbelievably talented mentally and has the ability to transition going from the Juve and competing with Ronaldo's and them every day to Soufal and the boys. I just can't see it. I just can't see him being a fit, and I just can't see him being the type of person who's going to come in and truly maximize this opportunity like a Lingard necessarily has done, and be that hunger and have that hunger to succeed. I think coming back and being successful at Juventus it just doesn't seem right for me, because he has been in and around their squad. I think he's sort of looking for his last paycheck in European football before he goes to an MLS, and I really hope we're not the club to do it. Not because I don't think he'd be good, just I don't think he'd be good for long enough and be able to really have an impact in a 38-game season because of the type of injury record he's had.
Yeah, it does scream of, he might be good for us, but are we going to get our money's worth out of him? Because he's not going to want anything less than 200 grand a week if he's on 400 grand a week at Juve. And can we even afford those wages? I know Lanzini's probably going to be on his way out. That frees up 100 grand, but I'd rather throw that 100 grand at Jesse Lingard, to be honest, than Aaron Ramsey. And it screams of a player that's going to arrive. He might have one or two impressive games, and then suddenly he's injured for 6 months or a few months, and suddenly it's like, well, what's the point of that? But yeah, it's got West Ham written all over it, even though for the last 6 months we've been told that this isn't the transfer. This isn't, the transfer strategy that the club are going to do anymore. David Moyes wants to go into the Championship. He wants to sign young, hungry players. He wants to get a couple of gems from Czech Republic, like he's already done. Slavia are going to be waiting for the phone to ring at any point in the summer, aren't they, for one or two of their players? So Aaron Ramsey's sort of a weird one, but yeah, they're the big transfer stories at the moment. But I think it's just great to see the West Ham players doing well on international duty. Hopefully Soucek doesn't attract too many suitors in the summer. Hopefully brings that hat-trick form into the game against Wolves on Monday night and beyond. But